Hello, and welcome back to another episode of English Growth. I'm your host, David. Today, we are going to slow things down. We aren't just looking at grammar rules or vocabulary lists today. We are going to talk about life. Specifically, we are going to talk about your daily routine. But more than that, we want to talk about the struggle of maintaining a routine and why English fits into that puzzle. Joining me, as always, is Sara. Sara, how are you feeling today?
Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Honestly, I'm feeling a little bit tired today. You know those days where the alarm goes off and you just stare at the ceiling thinking, do I really have to do this? That is my mood right now. But I am here.
I think everyone listening can relate to that feeling, that heaviness in the morning. But the fact that you showed up, Sara, that is the most important part. That is actually the first lesson of a daily routine. It's not about feeling perfect. It's about showing up even when you don't want to.
That is true. But David, talking about daily routines in English is actually quite hard for me. It sounds simple, right? I wake up, I eat breakfast. But when I try to describe the details or how I feel during my day, I get stuck. I run out of words. And then I feel frustrated, like my English isn't good enough to express my real life.
That is a very common problem, Sara. We call that the intermediate plateau. You know the basics, but you want to express complex emotions. Today, we are going to solve that. We are going to walk through a typical day, step by step, but we will add the emotion and the detail to it. We need to remember why we are doing this. Why is English important to your routine?
For me, English is important because it opens doors. I feel like if I don't master this language, I am living in a small room. But when I can speak and understand, the walls disappear and I can see the whole world. But sometimes the routine of studying feels like a burden. It feels like a chore.
I love that metaphor of the room. It reminds me of a quote by the Austrian philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. He said, "The limits of my language mean the limits of my world." If you don't have the words for your daily routine, you can't fully control it or share it. So, let's start at the very beginning, the morning. Sara, walk me through your morning, but try to use descriptive words. Don't just say, "I woke up."
Okay, I will try. So, the alarm goes off at 7 a.m. Usually, I hit the snooze button. Do you know that word, snooze? It means I delay the alarm for 10 minutes because I am not ready to face the day. I usually feel groggy.
Groggy. That is an excellent word. It means you are awake, but your brain isn't fully active yet. It's that sleepy, heavy feeling. So you hit snooze. Then what happens?
Eventually, I drag myself out of bed. I head straight to the kitchen. I am a zombie until I have my coffee. I put the kettle on. I love the sound of the water boiling. It's a comforting sound. It signals that the day has started. While I drink my coffee, I try to practice my English. I usually listen to a podcast, actually.
That is a fantastic habit. We call that habit stacking. You are taking a habit you already love, drinking coffee, and stacking a new habit on top of it, listening to English. This is the best way to solve the problem of not having enough time. Everyone says they are too busy to learn English, but everyone has time to drink coffee or brush their teeth.
Exactly. But David, here is the problem. Sometimes I listen, but I don't understand everything. And then my morning starts with disappointment. I feel stupid. I think, I have been studying for years. Why don't I understand this word? It ruins my mood for the rest of the morning routine.
Sara, let's pause there. This is really important. You are attaching your self-worth to your performance. You have to stop doing that. Learning is messy. If you understood 100% of the podcast, you wouldn't be learning anything new. You should be happy when you don't understand something because it identifies a gap you can fill.
That is a very positive way to look at it. I guess I am just impatient. I want to be fluent now.
Patience is the hardest part of the routine. There is a quote by Confucius that I always keep on my desk. He said, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." Your morning routine doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to happen. So, you've had your coffee. You are feeling less groggy. What comes next?
Next is the rush.
I realize I am running late. I scramble to get dressed. I brush my teeth quickly. I double-check my bag to make sure I have my laptop. Then I commute to work. My commute takes about 40 minutes.
Commute. That is a vital word for daily routines. It means the journey from home to work. How do you travel? Do you drive or take public transport?
I take the bus. And honestly, the bus is where I do my best thinking. I look out the window and watch the city wake up. Sometimes I see people arguing or laughing or just looking tired. I try to describe what they are doing in my head in English, like, that man is running for the taxi, or that woman looks anxious.
That is brilliant, Sara. That is active learning. You are narrating your life. This is a technique I tell all my students to do. It turns the boring parts of a routine into a game. But let me ask you this. Why is English important in your actual job? Once you finish the commute and get to the office, why do you need it?
Well, my company works with international clients. We have meetings via Zoom with people from Europe and Asia. The common language is English. If I can't express my ideas clearly during the daily stand-up meeting, my ideas get ignored. It's painful, David. I have the solution to a problem in my head, but I can't explain it fast enough, and the conversation moves on.
That is a very real pain. It is the pain of being unheard. This is why we practice. English isn't just a subject in school. It is a tool for empowerment. It gives you a voice at the table. When you feel discouraged in your routine, you need to remember that moment in the meeting. You are studying so that you can be heard.
Yes, I need to remember that. It's not just about grammar, it's about connection. There is a quote I read recently by Frank Smith. He said, "One language sets you in a corridor for life. 2 languages open every door along the way." I feel like I am standing in the corridor, knocking on the doors, hoping they open.
They will open, Sara, but you have to keep knocking. Let's move to the afternoon part of the daily routine. The afternoon slump. Do you know what that is?
Oh, I definitely know what that is. It's that time around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. where your energy crashes. You just want to take a nap, focus becomes really hard. How do you handle that in your routine?
For me, the afternoon routine is about movement. If I stay sitting, my English brain turns off. I try to take a walk, even for 5 minutes, and I try to switch my English practice to something fun. In the morning, I might do serious study. In the afternoon, I might listen to music in English or watch a funny YouTube video.
That's smart, changing the type of English you consume. I usually just try to force myself to work, and then I get a headache. I need to be kinder to myself.
Absolutely. Kindness is part of the routine. If you are stressed, your brain releases cortisol. Cortisol actually blocks your ability to retain memories and language. So by stressing out about your English, you are physically making it harder to learn English. You need to relax to learn.
That is easier said than done, David, but I understand the logic. Okay, so let's talk about the evening. The workday is done, the commute back home is finished, I am exhausted. This is the time when my routine usually falls apart. I promise myself I will read a book in English, but usually I just scroll through social media on my phone.
The doom scrolling. We are all guilty of that. It is the enemy of productivity. But let's look at this without judgment. Why do you scroll? Because you are tired and you want a reward. You want dopamine. The problem isn't that you are lazy. The problem is that reading a textbook feels like work.
Yes, exactly. I don't have the mental energy for grammar exercises at 8 p.m.
So don't do them. Change your evening routine. Watch a movie in English with subtitles. Cook a recipe where the instructions are in English. Call a friend who speaks English. The evening routine should be about immersion, not study.
I like the cooking idea. I actually tried that last week. I made pasta, and the video was by an Italian chef speaking English. I learned words like simmer, chop, and stir. It didn't feel like studying. It just felt like making dinner.
Perfect. Simmer, chop, stir. Those are action verbs. You learned them because you were physically doing them. That memory is much stronger than reading a word on a flashcard. That is what we mean by a natural routine. English should live alongside you, not be a separate thing you have to visit.
It makes sense. But David, I have a question about consistency. Sometimes I have a great routine for 3 days. I wake up, I listen to the podcast, I narrate my commute. And then something happens. I get sick or I have a family emergency and I stop for a week. Then I feel like I have failed, so I don't start again. How do we solve that problem?
That is the all or nothing trap. Many learners think, if I don't do it perfectly, I shouldn't do it at all. We need to change that mindset. Think of your routine like a muscle. If you miss a week of the gym, you don't quit the gym forever. You just go back and lift lighter weights until you are strong again.
So forgiveness is part of the routine?
Forgiveness is essential. You have to forgive yourself for being human. There is a wonderful Japanese proverb, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. It doesn't matter that you broke the routine. It only matters that you restarted.
Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. I really like that. It takes the pressure off. I think another reason I struggle is that I don't see immediate results. It's like watching grass grow. You look at it every day and it looks the same.
That is the hardest part of language learning. It is the compound effect. Small actions done daily don't look like much, but over a year, they are massive. Think about it this way, Sarah. If you learn just 5 new words a day, just 5, in 1 year, that is almost 2,000 words. That is enough to be fluent in daily conversation. But in 1 day, it feels like nothing.
Wow. When you do the math, it sounds so achievable. 5 words. I can do 5 words. Even on my worst day, I can handle 5 words.
Exactly. So let's recap what a healthy problem-solving daily routine looks like for our listeners. First, the morning. Wake up, accept the grogginess, but get up. Use habit stacking. Combine English with your coffee or breakfast. Second, the commute. Narrate your world. Look at people and describe them. Turn the boring travel time into active observation. Third, the workday. Remember your why. You are learning to be heard, to be respected, and to open doors. Fourth, the evening. Stop studying hard. Start living the language. Cook, watch, enjoy. And finally, if you break the chain, just start again.
That sounds like a plan I can actually follow. It feels less like a military boot camp and more like a lifestyle.
It has to be a lifestyle because English is a living thing. Before we finish, Sarah, I want to ask you one last thing. For the listeners who are terrified of speaking, who have a routine of reading but are scared to open their mouths, what would you say to them?
I would say I am scared too. Every time I speak, I am afraid I will make a mistake. I am afraid people will judge my accent. But I have realized that the pain of regret is worse than the pain of embarrassment. I would rather make a mistake and learn than stay silent and never grow. So just speak, even if your voice shakes.
Speak even if your voice shakes. That is powerful, Sarah. And remember, most people are not judging you. They are usually impressed that you are speaking a second or third language. They are focusing on the message, not the grammar.
That is true. When I hear someone speaking my native language imperfectly, I don't laugh at them. I want to help them. I need to remember that English speakers probably feel the same way about me.
Precisely. We are all just trying to connect. Well, this has been a great discussion. We covered vocabulary like groggy, commute, slump, and habit stacking. We talked about the emotions of frustration and the joy of success.
And we promised to be kinder to ourselves when we mess up our routine.
Yes. To all our listeners, your task for today is simple. Do not try to change your whole life in 1 day. Just pick one part of your routine, maybe your morning coffee or your drive to work, and add a little bit of English to it. Just 5 minutes.
And don't forget to tell us about it. Write in the comments or send us a message about what your daily routine looks like. What is your favorite time of day to practice? We want to know.
Thank you for listening. Remember, consistency is key, but patience is the lock. Keep going, keep learning, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Have a productive day.
Goodbye.